Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kim. I currently live in Japan where I do lifestyle and traveling videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for all your love and support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on your post notification bell. That way you'll never miss another video. And without further ado, let's jump into today's video. In today's video, we're talking about culture shocks, which I have experienced since living in Japan. So let's just go straight into it. And next huge culture shock for me was no English. No English, guys. Like, oh my god, it's so frustrating. Like, I can understand I go into a mom and pop shop and they don't speak English. Coolio, that's fine, no problem. Totally fine. But you cannot send me to your immigration office. Yes, your immigration office that deals with foreigners from different countries, because that's why it's there. It's not for people from your country. That's not how immigration works. However, your workers don't speak English. You send us documents in Japanese. It makes absolutely no sense. So, like, my immigration office, they have like a help desk kind of thing, and they have 3 ladies out there that speak English. However, they're not immigration officers, so you'll have to go there first. They'll write on a piece of paper what you need, and then you take it to the staff. They'll tell you push whatever number, and you'll hand the staff the paper or whatever. But majority of the staff in the immigration side do not speak English, and you get up there, you hand up the note, and they're like, Then they start like blabbering out Japanese to you, and you're just like, I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak Japanese. So it's kind of like, come on, like, it's the 21st century, and this is what I was talking about with that paradox thing, because it shouldn't be nothing but a thing for you to go on the computer, whatever you have to say to me, like, I'm renewing visa, there's just a couple things that I can do at the immigration office, right? So there should be a computer where you go, click, 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 language selected, English, boom, print, I can read, I can understand. But no, there's no English, and then they send you these letters, and it's all in Japanese. The banks do it, the pension office. Like, I don't get it. Like, I know back home we'll send documentations in because Spanish is our next widely spoken language. So you'll realize things in English, and then Spanish will be on the back. But even if you go into an institution, you go into your bank, you speak, I don't know, French, whatever language you speak. I had the ability to just go in my system, click, 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 2 seconds, here you are. And that's the next thing. They give you contracts in, like, it's so dumb. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm sorry. It really is dumb. It's like really stupid, because these contracts aren't binding contracts. They're not legal contracts, because all the contracts that I have signed since moving to Japan is in Japanese. I have clearly stated to them, I don't speak Japanese. This is not a binding contract, but I'll go ahead and sign it. So whatever I do, you can't sue me. This is not legal. None of this is legal, but that's a different story for a different day. Whew, the culture shock. The lack of English. No trash cans. It was strange being here and not seeing like trash cans on the road. Now, we've talked about this again in right here. Click that Costco video and you'll see where I talk about by the vending machines you can find bottles, garbage for bottles, but apart from that you won't be walking by and see like a trash can where you could throw your trash. In the stations sometimes have some. It's very rare that you'll see a trash can on the street. So what happens is people normally take home their garbage. It's cool, but that was a huge shock for me, because I'm like, where do I put this garbage? I don't want to walk around with garbage. Why am I doing this? But that was a huge culture shock. Nomikai was a next huge culture shock for me. And a nomikai is where your Japanese co-worker and you go drinking. It's a drinking party for everyone within your organization. And it's kind of weird, because in our culture, Western culture, when you go to the staff party and you're interacting with your boss or whoever CEOs and whatever you're interacting with, it's not the norm to be drinking and getting drunk and stuff like that. You might have a one drink, but everybody's looking at you side eye like, why are you at this work function and you're drinking? It's strange. But here, that's the norm. Drink, get flush pink, is fine, it's normal. That was a huge culture shock. Just throwing it back like y'all taking water, like you gotta see us tomorrow. But yeah, that was strange too. Big culture shock. Onsens, oh my god. So go ahead and click right here for strange things that I've encountered in Japan, and I talk about where I was invited to the onsen with my co-workers. That was a part of our nomikai party thing / onsen, and I was just like, this is different. Like, I don't want to show you my body, and I went to a auger school, so showing my body and to other females, because what happens at onsens, you have females and the males are typically separated if it's like full naked onsens going on. So I was just like, I don't want to do this because I'm gonna see you tomorrow. It's just weird, it's just a no-go for me. That was a little bit too much, too intimate. It's too intimate for moi. Taking your shoes off in restaurants. I'm okay with taking my shoes off in homes. So even at school where I have to change my indoor shoes, that's fine. But taking my shoes off when I go to like traditional Japanese restaurants, that's still a little bit weird to me, because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be walking on your nasty floors. Like, I'm not saying that they're nasty, but I'm just saying it's not my floors, and I just don't want to do that. And even though some of them provide you with shoes, it's food we're dealing with. We're not just walking around school where we're not. I don't know. It's just something about it that I don't. It was different. That was a big cultural shock. Like, you want me to take my shoes off to eat at your restaurant? Okay. And another thing with restaurants was that I've gone to traditional Japanese restaurants again, like izakayas and stuff, where you pay like essentially a sit-in fee or like a cover fee. Like, it would be $600 to sit here plus your price of the food. And I'm like, well, restaurants, I'm supposed to, it's not like I had a choice. There's no standing area, so I had to sit. Like, that was a huge culture shock. I didn't really understand that. But yeah, needless to say, I haven't gone back to places like that. If I have to pay to sit to eat your food, no thank you. Clothing size. So for clothing, personal stuff, your bra, your underwear, whatever, if you have anything that's bigger than a medium going on upwards, just call it a dub. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not. So back home we have clothing for all different sizes and different shapes of people, but here majority of the people look the same. They fit, their body type is the same, and especially if you look like me, we kind of have more from, we have a whole bunch of things going on, and yeah, it's difficult. It's going to be difficult, especially in the tatas world. Like, I've found shirts in Japan, but that's shirts to pull over my head. It's okay, I can find those. As far as button shirts, I haven't been able to find any in Japan. Bras is a no-go. I have bought pants from Japan. That was okay, but I couldn't buy jeans. It had to be like, leggings kind of. Because it would fit one area and then it doesn't fit back there, and y'all just go ahead and order from your Fashion Nova, your Pretty Little Shein and whatever. Just do your online shopping. Cultural shock, that was a huge one for me. Like, not being able to walk into a store and just buying something. Even like with shoes, their shoes are really, really narrow, and their feet are smaller than most Western people's feet. So yeah, it may be difficult to find shoes, and I'm a size 8 in shoes, and it's still difficult to find it. I have to go up in sizes because it's so narrow. It's just a hot mess. So yeah, just get prepared for that. And that was a huge shock for me. Also, I'm only 5'5", guys, but in Japan I'm like a giant. Okay, my knees, like, let me tell you, my knees. You remember when Meg the Stallion came out and she was doing all that with her knees? And I was just like, you know what? I need to get on that level where my knee has that much strength. Okay? But I'm telling you, my knees are weak. I really do need that strength now because furniture and everything in Japan is low. And even though 5'5" back home, I'm normally the short girl. But here, I'm like the giant. And, my knees are hurting because you go on these low furniture and then to get back up and oh my god. Now I understand. Like, my brother used to complain about his knees and all of this stuff, and I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, you're short, you don't get it, you don't understand. Back home, never had these problems. Now I have to like stand up, kick my feet up, like doing some old people moves, like to make sure that my knees don't like seize up on me. Like, it's crazy. So furniture being like really low compared to our standards, and even the kitchen sink and everything like bending up. You have to like crouch over, and you're like, I'm short. Like, you're just like, I'm supposed to be the shorty. Like, what's up? So everyone in Japan pretty much looks the same in terms of, I think they have like 3 hairstyles. So it'll be like bang, long hair, bang, medium length hair, bang, short hair. Like, you can walk through all the train, guys, and you'll see the same hairstyle on every single woman. And that's because they practice collectivism, and it's just where you do as the group, while in the West we practice individualism. And you know, you're used to every mom, every dad, like, I know every child has gone through this in the West, where you ask your mom or your dad, you're like, hey mom, dad, can I go out tonight? And they're like, no. You're like, well, so and so is going out, and they hit you back with the, well, if so and so jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge too. And so, you know, we are taught to have our own mindset, our own thoughts. We're supposed to be individuals. What makes you unique? But here it's kind of like a group thing. So if one person does it, we all do it. So that was a little bit different, because I'm just like, well, say what? And sometimes you see them doing foolishness. Like, one person is doing something that is like seriously wrong, and they're all following suit, doing the wrong thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, nobody around here realized that this is wrong? Are you guys just not talking out? Like, what's going on? So I don't know. That was a huge culture shock for me as well. The suicide culture, which leads to the suicide culture in Japan, this is a very serious one, guys. It was very shocking to me, like how common suicide was in Japan. Like, you even have the suicide forest, and it's so sad. You have young kids that are committing suicide from bullying or stress or whatever it may be that they're experiencing. And every now and again, like too often for my comfort, you have the trains that are delayed because somebody have committed suicide. And sometimes, you know, sometimes I just sit and I watch them, and it just seems like a lonely life. It's very different for me. And that was a huge culture shock. They're not talking to anybody. They're not communicating. It's like everything is felt inward. And that goes back to their culture. Like, I learned that in like fighting or in wars or whatever, if they lost the war or if they lost the fight, the warrior was supposed to commit suicide as to not commit shame on his family or something to that extent, I was told. And that's just so sad, because it's okay to mess up, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to not be okay. And that was very strange for me moving here, like how lackadaisical it's taken. Like, I'm freaking out, like, oh my god, what could have been done differently? But it just seems like this happens and it's like, tomorrow is the next day, 2 more is gone, and I don't know. I'm not so deep in the society where I know if the government or there's some kind of initiative that's happening. So I'm actually going to stop speaking on it right here because I don't believe in speaking on information that I don't know much about. So we're going to leave that right there. That was a big culture shock for me. And the last one is I enjoy going to the restaurants, and outside the restaurants you can see a display of the food that they offer. So if you don't know what it is that you want, let's say, because again there's not much English, so let's say they don't have an English menu, you could just go look on the outside to see which thing looks good, take a picture, and I've done this many times. Take a picture of the thing that you like and just be like, this one. And that works as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on your post notification bell. That way you'll never miss another video. Thank you again, and I'll see you next Tuesday for our next episode of KimDix Talk. And don't forget Sundays for Traveling Sundays. I'll see you next time. Bye.